too hard, ayy, ayy, about too hard, ayy. They not gon' like this, don't like surprises. I cause a crisis, man, I'm a scientist. With the music, I spice things up to my liking. Man, I want nice things, nice things. This not an AK, it's a Uzi. I pull up and shoot it to movie. I'm chasing the bag, not a coochie. Cut ties with the fake, now it's Gucci. Word of my niggas from the 021. You count 6 shots and I count 2 guns. Some people still think I rap just for fun, but soon they look up to me just like the sun. Yeah, you can come over here. Swear it's like no career. Swear you got no idea. Soon you have no career. Take a good look in the mirror. They need to know that I'm here. Don't you act like it ain't clear. Yeah, push start, ayy. Ball so hard, ayy. Raise the bar, ayy. Turn into a star, ayy. Play my part, yeah. I ain't too far. I do it big. I keep it large, okay. Live it up. Is this fake? Better give it up. Young, but I feel like I've seen enough. Numbers going up, better keep it up. Ain't slowing down, better live it up. About too hard, ayy. What? About too hard, ayy. What? About too hard, ayy. Ayy. About too hard.
I've been working part-time jobs, chasing all my dreams now lately. No matter if I try too hard, nothing's ever enough, baby. No, I don't care too much. I don't care too much. As long as I can keep you by my side, I don't care too much. We got time, no rush. In your eyes, I always see there is something meant for me. In your eyes, I always feel different. Tell me everything's alright. Life is just a bunch of faces, and if it's not,
All right, guys, welcome back to the stream. Second half between Eros and Triumph of map 3 officially underway. Omniscient leading the way towards ramp, but it's actually not a ramp commit from Eros. They make their way back towards Squeaky. JT leading the way out. Squeaky Exceed hits the initial headshot. Beaky good for the trade. CX gets another, but Beaky good for another trade. CX and Viz able to land 2 more headshots there towards Vents. Omniscient does fly down Vents to get redemption onto Viz, but it's only Omniscient remaining here for Eros, left in a 1v2 with 64 HP. Bomb has been planted at the B site. CX is heard at caution door. Omniscient good for the Glock headshot, brings it to a 1v1. Omniscient versus Grape. Omniscient on the initial peek doesn't do any damage, but re-peeks and lands the headshot. Grape down in an impressive pistol round there, Ben.
Yeah, Omniscient just taking a lot of initiative on himself to get down that initial vent and get the kill on the Triumph player within there. He moves quickly to get the bomb down and just does that perfectly to get the 1v1s as he hears that squeaky door open and is able to get the headshot onto CX as he came jumping through.
And it appears that a timeout has been taken here by Eros. They probably just want to prepare in case Triumph is going for the force.
Three Galeals and AK and a MAC-10 on the side of Eros as they're trying to make sure they don't slip up here on these initial rounds. Make sure they get as much value out of this pistol round as they can. A full save by Triumph as they set up for their default. No one in heaven, actually. 3-man on the floor inside of A. Very interesting choice there.
And Eros has to be careful to not get too complacent this round. So it's actually a good sign that they did take a timeout there. Because this is still a must-win round for Eros. You can't afford any mistakes on rounds like this. It'll definitely come back to bite you later. Those footsteps of Eros definitely heard in lobby, but no major contact being made yet. Actually, no damage at all going out from either squad yet.
Yeah, it seems Eros is trying to find a couple initial picks here before they just commit to anywhere in particular. Rizzo on top of this mini hut is in a very good position to get a couple of quick frags. He does get one, but Freshie is able to trade him out as many kills just come flying through CX into the lobby, but he does get taken down by Freshie, who drops that Mach 10 to get the Galil. They go down to the lower bomb site where the bomb will get planted by Shutout, it seems. And Freshie able to clean up that last kill on Viz.
Clean round there from Eros, despite that being an eco from Triumph. Eros back up by 3, but this round clearly going to be a true test for Eros, as Triumph will be on their first full rifle defensive round.
Rizzo taking tons of damage from that fire inside of the vents. Gets down to 67. I don't think he was aware that it was in there.
Yeah, that looked a bit awkward from his point of view for sure. But Eros once again approaching things a bit passively, which is likely the smarter move here.
Utility going out all across the map from different locations. Also made it all the way down into secret. He's moving around the map now. Good flank there by him.
Looks like Eros is committing to going down ramp to the B side. Viz and Rizu combining for 3 actually, just outside of lower ramp and control. Omniscient does help out with the trades there. Shutout takes out 2 in back calls. What a play from Shutout. 2 little headshots.
Grape does hear these
going out
vents
there.
probably as they start running through there to try and get him out of place. Bomb will go down.
And Eros gonna have to be careful here not to get lined up from caution. Grape does open the caution door, downs Omniscient. It's all up to Shutout, and Shutout able to come through there with the Galil headshot towards caution. Grape falls, and the round does go to Eros. They're now leading by 4. And Eros continuing to look fairly strong here on Nuke.
We see a full deagle by here coming out from Triumph. We're going to try and get a couple of these long distance trades probably. A couple of 1-digs in their minds. Do have 2 Galils coming out for Eros, as their money is still not entirely established, because they've been getting quite a few trade kills in these rounds. A lot of utility though in their hands. They should be able to take this with ease if they can shut off these ranges that the Deagles will enable. Oh, but Exceed gets a crazy 1-dig on Omniscient from the bottom of Secret up to the top of that silo.
Triumph on 5 Deagles right now for the semi-buy. It's not a force. Shutout lurking outside. CX did have a pretty good angle on him for a potential 1-dig, but only tags him down to 46. But Triumph still the one-man advantage here, and still with some solid positioning. So nothing's going to come easy here for Eros. It looks like they are still leaning towards ramp, but it's not a full commit yet. She away towards ramp. They're flooding ramp room now. That's going to force CX down to the B site.
But they actually go top of heaven.
Yeah.
Made it through admin. Shutout gonna get Exceed possibly off guard, but no, Exceed gets the quick trade kill there.
Yeah, Grape missed a big opportunity to kill at least one with the Deagle there from below rafters. He was not able to do so. JT gonna kill one near mini. Trade goes out. CX still lurking there by Squeaky. He's also acquired a Galil for himself. We're left in a 2-on-2. Bomb has been planted. Freshie gonna finish off CX near door, and Beaky good for the one tap onto Viz in heaven. And Eros increasing their lead to 5 rounds. And if they can just keep their cool, they can keep stacking rounds here in the second half then.
For sure. Beaky with a great muscle memory flick there onto heaven, as we see now. CX is going to buy out for the first time in this half. That will change some things possibly for this outside push that they've been doing. Just a slow lurk. I think Beaky did just see Viz's legs possibly inside a ramp. Eros starting to slow things down a little bit. Getting their setup together for this possible inside push that they're looking at.
Able to down Grape and Raptor. JT helping to clear out the A side. Freshie gonna kill one more by opposite vents, and this round is all Eros. What an impressive A take there from Eros. CX already falling back to CT spawn to save that AWP. Viz gonna be joining him.
Yeah, just great teamwork there by Team Eros, as they were able to get those utility and flashes pushed into the site properly. Because they were able to catch a couple of guys off guard inside the site. And then Freshie with just a great smoke kill. I believe he had seen through radar into the back of site. Was able to get that last one inside of the lobby. Or A site, that is. And Team Eros going on the hunt. Might want to respect this a little bit, though. CX is very dangerous in the back of that forklift with that op. He will get the first. They do know where he's at now, though, but he does have support back there. They will get Omniscient as well. But all in all, great round there by Team Eros, as we see a pause come out, possibly from Triumph, I would assume. So they're going to try to talk about what's going wrong on their end with these holds. Try and figure out how they can counter these great pushes that Eros have been putting together.
Yeah, these are when things still can get pretty difficult on the terrorist side. Triumph definitely not going to give up anything easily here in these championship rounds, if you will. You know that I mean, in Triumph's head, they're probably thinking, you know, we're still the better team. We should be able to make this comeback. We've made this type of comeback versus other teams before, being down by 5 or 6 rounds in the second half. But ultimately, Triumph at an economic disadvantage this round.
Yeah,
if Eros
very odd buy.
Yeah, if Eros can just keep playing their game and not make any blatant mistakes, you know, they have a good shot at closing out this series.
Very unfortunate they're off the mini hut drop, and this round is all Triumph.
Yeah, big play there from Viz to take out too early. Grape and CX
finally able to get that last kill between the silos. On site.
So I guess Triumph just needed an eco round to come out on top there. A bit strange that they pulled that off with that type of weaponry, but that's kind of what I was alluding to about these.
The initial 2K there by Viz was just crucial in securing the start of that round. It was able to catch them off guard as they were coming off of the silo onto the mini hut itself, and just threw Eros for a bit of a loop there as they were unable to recover from that initial.
Yeah, CX able to get the early pick here as well. It's going to be a semi-buy coming in for Eros. They have 3 Deegs, 1 Galil remaining, lurking out in yard, weaving their way through these smokes. Exceed drops 1 and mini trade goes out, but Rizu and Gray able to kill 2 more there at the A site. That's going to leave only Beaky Wow remaining here in lobby. That's where you have to be careful against a team like Eros suddenly, or a team like Triumph, excuse me. They just out of nowhere seem to have grabbed some momentum. Beaky does get that D kill in ramp, letting out some extra energy there.
He's able to get rid of that op also, which is very good. It's going to come back towards Viz, though. Viz in a great angle here to get him. He will get him with the 2-tap. Quick AK headshot there from the lobby into the start of ramp.
And once again, Eros left in an awkward economic situation. That's 4 Deagles and a scout in the hands of Shutout here on the terrorist side. Beaky gonna get picked off early from blue container. Nice shot from CX. Rizu outside. Mini is definitely gonna prove a problem here. He does, downs 2. That leaves only Shutout and JT remaining at red container. CX gonna tag Shutout. Does hit him on the first shot, but it takes 2 for the kill. JT does get a Deeg headshot coming out.
With that name, yeah, pushes him out of position just enough for Viz to be able to finish him off.
And Triumph right back within striking distance here, only down by 2. And Eros really can't afford any mistakes here moving forward.
Yeah, this op by CX is definitely coming to play here into these later rounds in this half. Triumph has been able to really cut off their pushes very effectively.
Triumph always just seems to have one more trick up their sleeves, even when they're trailing.
I want a really good push here into the ramp by CX will get Freshy down in this initial engagement.
Yeah,
JT starting to work over towards him. He will also go down the slow peak there. Just unfortunate by him.
Yeah, big plays from CX, and you know that could be enough to sway this round for Triumph. We'll see if Eros is able to get one of these picks towards the A site. They're certainly going to have to take out at least Exceed or Grape here pretty soon if they want to make a play towards A. Can't imagine they're going to keep advancing towards ramp. You don't want to just keep dying one by one to that AWP.
The Beaky with a great peek there. Fortunately, Omniscient will go down outside as Shutout tries to make his way down to the vents. He is able to make it. The Duno one is down there. They heard the ladder.
Beaky's still with the C4 in hand. He hears those footsteps heading on the rotation, but Grape is still in mini, and Beaky gets caught with the C4 out, making his way towards default. Grape gonna kill both him and Shutout there at the A site, and Triumph now trailing by only 2 rounds. And this one's really coming down to the wire, Ben. Eros definitely under a lot of pressure right now.
Yeah, the momentum has swung very hard into the direction of Triumph his last few rounds. CX just dominating with that op, and then just because of those initial picks he's been getting, it's been very hard for Eros to put together pushes onto these sites. This is a very awkward buy here as Beaky has an AK, the rest are on pistols, very few armor across the board with no head armor for 2 of them. CX once again just using that op to bully Eros. So it comes down the ramp doors, and Viz is able to down 2 before they can even make it into the site itself. That'll be all she wrote as the last 2 frags come in from CX and Rizu.
And things definitely getting a bit concerning here for Eros. Triumph only trailing by a single round now. Eros will be able to afford a full buy. That's 4 AK-47s and a Tech 9 here for Eros. But it looks like Eros has also called for a timeout, which is definitely needed here. And with CX still opping, I mean, Eros has to be so careful about these opening duels, especially towards ramp. Eros essentially cannot afford to lose a player in the first minute of play without getting a trade. They absolutely can't. They can't lose a player without a trade, period, right now. Because if you lose that first player again here in an opening duel early and trade does not go out, that's almost just a mental game playing out for Eros, you know? Because then you go, oh, God, okay, here we go again. 4v5, still with 1:25 on the clock, for example, you know? Just not a situation you want to be on, especially on the T side of Nuke. Great.
The trade does come this time, unfortunately for Eros. Beaky does go down, but they are able to make it in the secret. Unfortunately, though, Triumph quickly on the rotate as Viz is already into lower. He's on that catwalk just above the doors.
Freshie leading the way towards double doors at the B side. We're still in a 4-on-4. Bomb, of course, not planted yet. Just over a minute remaining. CX on the rotation. Down ramp does kill shutout at B. Omniscient able to headshot Viz behind B silo. That brings us to a 3-on-3. Grape is smoked out. Forced to stand on the other side of those smokes at lower ramp. Meanwhile, the bomb has been planted at the B side. JT able to land the headshot onto CX. Back towards caution door. Exceed able to drop one from control room. Grape on the rotation from ramp. Headshots. Omniscient and Grape able to hit another headshot through that narrow angle at Squeaky door. And Eros finds themselves in quite a pickle now, Ben. I mean, they do have enough money for the full buy, but the pressure is just through the roof here for Eros now.
I'd almost like to see JT have gotten off there with the money that he had, just so that they can at least attempt to contest CX here with these long-range shots, because he is just decimating them in these past few rounds. They were able to down him last time, but it was because he got caught out in the vents itself. A lot of utility coming through that Squeaky door. Back and forth as damage goes back and forth between the two teams.
Yeah, I feel like whoever takes control of Squeaky this round might just take the whole round, or whoever gets the first pick towards that area. Freshie still lurking towards Squeaky. Rizu right on the other side. Smoke dissipates. Freshie spots him. Does get the kill. Tagged down to 46 himself, but a great start to the round for Eros. They just need to keep cool and keep making smart decisions here.
Making a good push through ramp, possibly try and swing this back in their favor. I believe Beaky is there holding that angle, but they all commit at this point into the lobby as one goes down, two go down by Viz and Grape. It's just big trades in the favor of Triumph here into the site.
Yeah, Shutout was able to respond with two of his own coming out of Hut there, but ultimately Triumph just too strong there on that A defense. They go back up by one, but Eros not out of this one yet, Ben. They've got 3 Deagles and a Scout to make that 4 Deagles and a Scout to work with this round. And no matter what, they of course will be on a full buy next round, so let's see if they can just maybe pull off some eco madness here. CX says no. He picks Shutout just past red container. Freshie already in ramp room though. Might be able to take out Viz, and he does. Big 1 dig from Freshie and Ramp. And I can't state enough how big of a pick that is for Eros, especially if he can pick up that A1S. JT as well, able to get a scout kill outside. Omniscient, able to 1D exceed towards Mini, and suddenly it's a 2-man advantage for Eros. CX
Omniscient
does,
gets another one. CX outside. He does get spotted by Omniscient as well. He knows he's lurking around outside this red box. He's able to get that last kill as well with 26 HP. Wonderful round by Omniscient there.
Woo!
And they're back in this. Unfortunately, the economy for Triumph is very strong right now, so they will be able to fully buy up. Once again, CX still getting that off in his hands. But we're in a crazy situation now as we go into these last few rounds.
Man, this is too much anxiety. I can't even look at the monitor right now. I gotta just look away.
They keep pushing in towards Omniscient. That firebomb, though, will help a little bit there to keep him at bay. A quick trade there with Freshie cleaning up Rizu after the initial frag onto Omniscient at the outside storage.
Interesting start to the round. Freshie was tagged down to 22 out there towards garage. Less than a minute remaining now. Beaky falling back towards lobby. His 3 teammates still lurking towards outside. Eros still has options here, but they're going to have to make a move soon. They're going to have to be very careful about Viz up in heaven there as he keeps re-peeking towards outside. Get down shutout in Mini. JT, good for the trade, but Grape trades back from the top of Hut. Beaky downed outside as well, and Grape gonna get that final A1S kill into Mini. And Triumph now sitting,
match point here.
Yeah, sitting at series point, leading 15 to 14. Eros gonna be putting it all on the line here with 3 AK-47s, a MAC-10 in the hands of Beaky. Actually make that 4 AKs now. And this is a rough one, Ben. So you've still got CX on that AWP. He's now headed towards Mini and peeking outside. So
Good smokes, though, will keep them from being able to get initial frags. However, they are walking now across this. Good smoke coverage, though, will keep them from being spotted as they move their way down into the secret. Shutout lurking outside, waiting for anybody to come outside and check that. With Beaky on his heels. That MAC-10. Rizu, though, will get the initial frag, though, down into the secret. That is unfortunate. He falls back into the site.
Less than 55 seconds remaining. Exceed still in Mini. JT does drop one over in lower halls. Viz, good for the trade. Bomb is down here at back halls of lower. 1-man advantage still for Triumph. Viz lurking back of the B site. CX able to kill another from ramp room towards hell there. Beaky looking for the trade, but Beaky had his molly out. That might cost him. And CX does get that final kill onto Beaky right after Omniscient got picked off at lower. And ultimately, ultimately Triumph was able to outlast here, Ben. A heartbreaker for Eros. Obviously, there were some, technical issues with GoTV throughout the night that did not affect the players in game. I just want to stress that. But, we didn't quite get a good look at that second map there. We're going to have to go through that demo later and see exactly what happened. But, Eros came out strong on Vertigo there and took it 16-9. And, they were up by a similar amount of rounds here on Nuke, up by 4 or 5 rounds going into the second half there. And Triumph just reaching into that bag of tricks once more, Ben, and somehow just outlasting there in the end.
Yeah, Triumph did that initial pause whenever Eros was on that big swing, the start of this half, and from that point forward, Eros was just on their back foot. They were able to completely neutralize all of their pushes. Triumph just rolling as a unit. A lot of individual skill on display by CX with that op, as he was able to shut down multiple pushes from both outside and ramp. Just unfortunate for them, as Triumph is able to string together these last few rounds here as well, even after they were able to somewhat counter the strats that were happening. But overall, a great showing by both teams here on Nuke in this final map.
Yeah, well played by both teams. Eros has no reason to hang their heads about this one. It truly could have gone either way there on Nuke. I know a lot of people watching probably expecting Eros to close that one out on Nuke, but it's not always that easy. Even when you do have the lead late in the second half, all it takes is a few rounds for the opposing team to get back within striking distance. And with a team like Triumph, once they're back within that 3-round range again, it's really just, the momentum at that point really can go either way. And if you don't control a team like Triumph late in the game, when they're starting to chip their way back into things, you're going to be at risk there late in the game. But, as said, Eros still had a hell of a series there. Even while the technical issues were going on, I know you and I were both hyped to see that they were up on Vertigo. And then even before we got into the Go TV on Nuke, we saw that they were in the lead again. And I would still say that this is a notable night in Eros's progression, if you will.
Yeah, no, they proved that they can hang with some of the bigger teams here currently in Premier. Triumph, just coming off of that great run in the Cash Cup, showing that they are starting to gel super well. And just generally, uh, everyone on this map was able to show off a little bit of what they can do for Team Eros. Just unfortunate that some of the solo frags went the way of Triumph in a couple of the starts of these rounds, and that just kind of shut them out a little bit towards the end of the map.
Yeah, Shutout had some really impressive plays there late in the second half to keep Eros in it, even when Triumph was, one by one getting closer and closer. But ultimately, I think you touched on it earlier, but I think CX probably the deciding factor there on Nuke for sure with that AWP. And it maybe did hurt Eros a bit that they didn't have an offensive opper there on the T side of Nuke.
Yeah, I feel like if they were able to contest him just a little bit, even if they weren't always winning those op 1v1s, even if they were doing it a couple of rounds, I could have easily won them one or two of those rounds where CX was able to just get 2 or 3 quick opening frags on them and just shut down those initial pushes. Just
Right.
board attrition, keeping them from able to have enough utility to take these different sites because of just the numbers game going
Right.
on between the two sides.
Yeah, and I know historically sometimes you don't always use an op too frequently T side of Nuke, but as you were saying there, that could have paid some dividends. But ultimately, it's been an entertaining night of matches all around Premier. I apologize on behalf of ESEA for the numerous Go TV issues tonight across the board, but we were able to cover the entire first map there. We did miss Vertigo, weren't able to get in there in time, but we were able to see both the first or at least half of the first half there on Nuke and the remainder of the second half. Congrats to Triumph for outlasting there for the W, and well played to all our boys on Eros. Keep your heads up, and we'll be watching you guys next week. Of course, you can give me a follow on Twitter at Hamtaro1H, my co-host here at RaikuStar17 on both Twitch and Twitter, and of course give Team Eros a follow here on both Twitch and Twitter as well. Team Eros GG. And until next time, guys, Hamtaro1H signing off for now. Ben and I have had a great time covering this tonight. Any closing words, Ben?
Looking forward to next week. I'm hoping Team Eros can learn a lot from this loss and turn it around and take what they learned and just have a great showing for the next time.
Well said. And on that note, we'll see you guys next time. Have a great night.
See ya.